10 Silent Sex Struggles Married Couples Go Through Every Day. Sex is often seen as a fun and pleasurable part of life, but what many people don't know is that sex can also be a source of struggle and frustration, especially for married couples. While sex can be a source of intimacy and connection, it can also be a source of tension and conflict in a marriage. Some of the common silent sex struggles married people face include mismatched libidos, performance anxiety, physical and emotional health issues, stress and burnout, and difficulty communicating about sex. These struggles can lead to feelings of frustration, loneliness, and isolation, and can even damage the relationship if not addressed. However, there are ways to overcome these challenges and strengthen the connection with your partner. Let's take a closer look at some of these silent sex struggles and how to overcome them. 1. A spouse who has lost interest in sex. Some are married to a spouse, oftentimes the wife, who rarely wants sex, perhaps because of emotional strain, past wounds, hormones, negative view towards spouse, or as a result of conflict. This can easily make one feel rejected. It is important to understand why the spouse has lost interest in sex. It could be as a result of emotional issues like unmet emotional needs, unmet love language needs, or even unresolved personal issues. It could also be due to health challenges like depression, menopause, or fatigue. Address this by talking things out, open up, change contraceptives. Realize that lovemaking is important in marriage. Talking to a professional, sex therapist or counselor, can also prove helpful. 2. Mismatched libidos. It's very common for partners to have different levels of sexual desire, which can lead to frustration and feelings of rejection. One way to overcome this is to communicate openly about your needs and desires, and to find ways to compromise and meet each other's needs. You might also want to consider exploring new activities that can spark intimacy and connection outside of sex. 3. A spouse who lacks personal hygiene. It is a struggle to kiss, lick, touch, rub, or even make love to someone who doesn't brush their teeth, shower, wears the same underwear for days, or doesn't care about presentation. When one spouse has poor hygiene, it can be difficult for the other spouse to be intimate. If you notice that your spouse has poor hygiene, it is important to approach the topic with compassion and understanding. Avoid making accusations or blaming the other person. Instead, talk to them about the importance of personal hygiene and offer to help them establish healthy habits. You can also suggest going to see a doctor or therapist if the issue is persistent. Sometimes, physical or mental health conditions can be at the root of poor hygiene. If you feel like your spouse is struggling with their personal hygiene, it's important to get to the bottom of the issue and offer support where you can. This can be a sensitive topic, but with patience and compassion, you can help your spouse improve their hygiene and create a more intimate relationship. 4. Lustful sexual desire. Lustful sexual desire can cause a struggle to remain faithful, both physically and emotionally. This desire can manifest in inappropriate ways such as flirting with others on social media, at work, or in the neighborhood. It can affect how a spouse views their partner and make it difficult to enjoy intimacy. The first step to overcoming this issue is recognizing it and addressing it head-on. Be honest with yourself and your spouse, and take steps to redirect your desires toward your partner. This might include making more time for quality time together, and improving communication. There is no shame in seeking help to improve your relationship. In fact, it can be a sign of strength and commitment. Remember that it's normal to have desires, but it's important to keep them directed toward your spouse in healthy and appropriate ways. 5. Unmet sexual needs. When a spouse's sexual needs are not met, it can lead to frustration and resentment. However, it's important to remember that the onus is on both partners to communicate their sexual needs and desires openly and honestly. Sexual intimacy is a two-way street, and it's important to listen to and understand each other's needs. This might involve being more affectionate outside of the bedroom, creating a romantic environment, and communicating about your likes and dislikes in the bedroom. Ultimately, a fulfilling sexual relationship requires effort from both partners. You both can commit to working together to meet each other's needs and desires. 6. Ex-partner comparisons. Some people are fighting the memories they had of their ex and exes in bed. As they have sex with their spouse, they have images of the ex in mind. When someone is stuck comparing their current partner to an ex-partner, it can lead to feelings of resentment and dissatisfaction. However, the past is the past, and it's important to focus on the present. One way to do this is to cultivate gratitude for your current partner and all the unique qualities they bring to the relationship. Let go of the past and start fresh by appreciating and complimenting your current partner's sexual skills and abilities. See your spouse for the uniqueness he or she is. Start to praise your spouse sexually, and your mind will register your spouse as the new definition of sexy. 7. The draw of pornography. Pornography will distract you from cultivating intimacy with your spouse. It will make you ignore your spouse without you knowing it. Address this by desiring the real thing, not illusions and porn stars. Train yourself to say no. Pornography can be highly addictive and can have a negative impact on relationships. It can lead to unrealistic expectations and cause people to focus on physical appearance rather than intimacy. If you're struggling with pornography, it's important to seek help from a professional counselor or therapist. At the same time, try to cultivate a deeper sense of intimacy with your spouse by spending quality time together and focusing on shared interests and values. Over time, this will help you to feel more connected and less drawn to pornography. 8. Solitary pleasure. Solitary pleasure or masturbation will make your spouse compete with your fingers. Your fingers will most likely win because you know how to please yourself, but your marriage will lose. Masturbation can become a problem when it starts to interfere with your ability to connect with your partner. If you're finding that you're preferring to masturbate rather than having sex with your partner, it's important to communicate your needs and work together to create more intimacy. It's important to view your partner as your primary source of sexual satisfaction, not masturbation. Address this by teaching your spouse how you want him or her to please you, since you have already learnt your body. When it comes to sexual intimacy, nothing can replace the real thing. While masturbation can have its place, it's important to remember that your partner is your primary source of satisfaction. 9. Unable to maintain an erection. Most men lose their erection due to panic or lack of concentration because sex starts in the mind. When a man is unable to maintain an erection, it can be due to anxiety, stress, or other psychological factors. It's important to address these issues in order to help with the physical aspect. To do so, try to relax and stay in the moment, enjoying every sensation without focusing on performance. It's also helpful to communicate openly with your partner about your feelings, insecurities, and needs. Address this by calming down, relax, be in the moment, enjoy every sensation. 10. An overthinking wife who struggles to climax. For many women, overthinking can be a major barrier to sexual satisfaction. Thoughts like, am I taking too long? Am I doing this right? What does he think of my body? Is the house clean? Is my vagina smelling? Is he really enjoying it? Am I moaning too loud? Am I too wet? Can all get in the way of enjoying the moment. It's important to focus on the present and not worry about everything else. Try to clear your mind and enjoy the experience. Other sex struggles married couples are likely going through could include a penis that ejaculates too quickly, low self-esteem, comparisons with other couples, and lots more. Hey, add yours also to the list and keep this gist going. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinion. To conclude, let's remember that sexual intimacy is about more than just physical pleasure. It's also about connection, vulnerability, and sharing a special moment with your partner. When it comes to intimacy, take things slow and focus on quality over quantity. And most importantly, remember to communicate with your partner so you're both on the same page.